Hi, friends. My name is Bree, and I bought myself a cat. You would think buying a cat is nothing special, but then I didn't mention that I spent a whole $1 million on it. It's an insane amount, but not for my family. However, I couldn't even imagine how the purchase would turn out for all of us. Growing up in a wealthy family, I had everything I wanted except for one thing. I always dreamed of having a kitten, but my parents were against it because they didn't really like animals. Believe me, I have so much pocket money that I could easily buy myself any cat, but I never went against my parents. They, of course, pampered me, but at the same time, they were very strict, especially when it came to school. If I got bad grades, they either took my pocket money or grounded me. One day, my mother crossed a line. She scolded me in front of my friends for not cleaning my room. Even though we have a lot of servants, my parents wanted me to do the tidying myself. I felt so embarrassed in front of my friends that I didn't argue with her but obediently went to clean up instead of playing board games with them. Lately, the constant criticism began to make me so mad that I decided to disobey them on principle. I always listen to them, I don't talk back to them, and they won't even consider my one wish to have a pet cat. I felt like this was unfair and started looking at ads for kittens for sale. To be honest, I didn't think it would be that difficult. The kittens were kind of bland, and I wanted something special to make my pet stand out from the rest of the purebred cats. I liked a kitten from the Ashira breed. It was so graceful and sleek. I wasn't even worried about how much it cost. It was only $1 million. Believe me, that is not much money for my family. The price was so high because of the kitten's unique coloring. It was not white or gray or even black, but purple. I thought that was such an unusual pet, I would definitely stand out online because people would be fascinated by such an unusual looking kitten. As I imagined how many likes and comments I would get for a photo with the purple kitten, I went to my parents' safe. Of course, I didn't tell them I had stolen $1 million from their stash and spent it on a cat. I thought that in our huge mansion, they would hardly notice it. Oh, how naive and stupid I was then. After the cat joined our family, everything changed dramatically. When I brought the kitten, I tried to slip her into my room as discreetly as possible. I didn't leave her all evening. I spent hours playing with Miss Whiskerson. Only soon she became less playful and more harmful. She immediately started climbing everywhere, pushing things off the table and shelves, and she even pooped right into my new brand name sneakers. Still, I didn't get mad at Miss Whiskerson because she was so cute. However, after a couple of days, I didn't think that way anymore. First, Miss Whiskerson was a very nosy cat. She often meowed while staring at one point on the wall. I even began to think she could see evil spirits. After all, there are legends about cats seeing all kinds of evil spirits. Second, she refused to eat cat food and preferred expensive pudding, marbled beef, and fresh trout. Third, she would ignore the litter box in favor of my silk sheets. It was a complete nightmare. I was also disappointed when the purple color washed off her coat. It turns out that it was just food coloring. It was a trick, and I fell for it like an idiot. There was no end to my disappointment. Although, when I bought her, I talked with the breeder for a long time, and he assured me that she was an unbelievably smart and obedient cat that would not cause any trouble. But even then, he deceived me. I paid $1 million for a cat who was very picky and whose fur was an ordinary color. I complained to the breeder, but he didn't respond to me, and then he blocked me so I couldn't keep messaging him or leave him any angry reviews. I thought that I could never get along with Miss Whiskerson, but after a while, she became very affectionate towards me. She often trailed after me, purred at night when she slept next to me, licked my hands when I petted her. In moments like those, it was impossible to be angry with her, and I was ready to forgive her for everything. Her charm worked on me, but not on my parents. Once, when I went to school, I forgot to close the door to my room. Miss Whiskerson, of course, ran out to take a walk around the house. As luck would have it, on that day, my parents had important clients over for dinner to sign a deal, not knowing that a cat had gotten under the table. I don't know why Miss Whiskerson did this, but she started biting everyone's legs. The guests screamed and jumped in surprise. My parents had no idea what was happening. When they looked under the table, they saw a kitten hissing at them. My mom almost fainted from the shock, and my father was very confused. He didn't know what to do with the fluffy, uninvited guest. In the end, they managed to sort things out with their clients, but they couldn't just leave the situation the way it was. In the evening, I came home to a serious conversation about the fact that animals have no place in this house. Mom gave me the lecture, and Dad was already thinking up the punishment. But I freaked out and said that Miss Whiskerson was going to stay here and live in my room. My parents, oddly enough, agreed, but warned that if they saw her outside my room again, they would immediately give her away. Only now there was one big problem. Miss Whiskerson no longer wanted to stay in my room. She enjoyed walking around the house and exploring it. Because of this, she literally drove me crazy with her loud meowing. She wanted to go beyond those four walls, but I couldn't let her go. I just had to put up with her whining. However, she was still able to escape through the window, and that was a complete nightmare. Miss Whiskerson walked around the garden and got into trouble the whole time. She trampled on all my mom's favorite flowers and then ate them. In addition, she pooped right into our fountain after she fell into it. She also bit the gardener on the arms and legs. The gardener, of course, didn't like that very much and complained to my parents. I thought they would be so angry that they would immediately sell Miss Whiskerson, but they gave me another warning. And then the unexpected happened. Mom suddenly thawed to the kitten and decided to pet her, only she didn't like it and immediately scratched her and hissed at her. For some reason, we thought it was because of the pungent smell of her perfume, but no, Miss Whiskerson just disliked my parents. She didn't want to play with them, didn't let them pet her, and she also caused trouble in their bedroom, taking things and scratching the expensive furniture. It got to the point that she literally gutted their expensive pillows. My parents didn't want to put up with this any longer and said that the cat had to leave our house. But I didn't want to part with her because she loved me. However, my parents were adamant. I put up an ad to sell the cat for $1 million, but nobody wanted to buy her for that price. However, that wasn't the main problem I would face. My parents suddenly urgently needed $1 million from their stash. They were having some serious problems at work, and this money could help them solve them. When Dad opened the safe and found nothing there, he almost turned gray. He did not understand where all the money had gone. Of course, first of all, they thought of a servant who somehow managed to get to the safe and guess the code. At first, they simply interrogated everyone, and then they began to threaten them with the police. Our cleaning lady could not stand the stress and burst into tears, saying that she had worked for our family faithfully and unquestioningly for many years, and that all these accusations were offensive. My parents assumed she was the one who stole the money because no one else got so upset. And I felt extremely ashamed and sorry for our cleaning lady because she really always performed all her duties well. I said that I took the money. "But why did you need so much? Were you in trouble?" asked my mother, and I tried to gather the strength to tell her the whole truth. I said that I bought Miss Whiskerson for $1 million, not thinking that we would ever need the money because it had been in the safe for over a year. My parents were furious. I wouldn't have been surprised if they kicked me and the cat out of the house. After my mother freaked out, they said that I had to sell the cat for the same amount, no matter what. Otherwise, our family's company could go bankrupt. There was no way out. I didn't paint her purple for the sake of money. I thought that would be cruel to her. I just tried to play on the feelings of spoiled rich kids. On Instagram, I put up a lot of posts and stories. I didn't really think I'd succeed, but eventually I managed to trick one girl. She truly believed that this cat used to belong to the presidential family, and that if properly fed, it would bring good luck to its owner. Yes, I know it's not good to deceive people, but otherwise I wouldn't be able to sell Miss Whiskerson. To be honest, it was hard for me to say goodbye to my pet. Despite her bad temper, I'd gotten used to her. I loved Miss Whiskerson. I asked the new owner to sometimes send me photographs of the cat so that I knew that everything was fine with her in the new family. Without her, I felt incredibly lonely. I wanted someone to spend time with me, purr in my ear, and play with me. I was very sad. But by selling the cat, I helped my parents. They managed to avoid bankruptcy, which they were incredibly happy about, and to celebrate, they gave me a surprise. One day after school, I saw a cat house in the living room with a kitten sleeping inside. I couldn't believe my eyes. My parents bought me a pet. We noticed that you were very sad about selling your cat, so we decided to buy you a new one, they said, hugging me. The new kitten was calm, docile, and not purebred, but this didn't upset me in the least. I no longer wanted to show off an expensive pet on social media because I realized how petty that was. Do you have pets? Let us know in the comments. Like this video and share it with your friends.